Hi guys, good morning. So today's topic is having a visit from your loved one. So my very first experience having this visit was back in 2005. I had lost my father in 2004, and he came to me in a dream. It was very lucid, very so surreal, and very meaningful to me. And I'd like to share that with you today. So as I mentioned before, I do have a journal, and this is listed with my dreams and current events, like life events, synchronicities that had happened to me along the way throughout my years of reflecting back from when I was young. So it's just very really meaningful to me, and I'd like to share it with you. So as I said, in 2004, I lost my father to a massive heart attack. He was found with no identification, and it was very sudden. So my parents were not together at that time, so they not only couldn't identify him, but they didn't know that he had family that existed. I was his only daughter, but when they did find out through dental records that he was who he was, they later contacted me, and that was 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, and he was already cremated, so I didn't even get a chance to see him or view him. All I have is actually living memories, which is also all right too. I'm blessed with that. But having said, I'd like to reflect on that day that he did pass. So as I had mentioned before, we all kind of are, we're all, I guess you can say, we're all capable of knowing and experiencing signs from our loved ones. We just have to be open to it, have the open heartedness and the open mindedness for sure. So on that day that he passed in 2004, I specifically remembered, based on the date that the coroner gave us when he did pass, we were actually on the highway coming from Calgary to Edmonton. And for some reason I was fine, everything was great, and we had just a new vehicle going, and so we were fine, we were safe. But all of a sudden I started crying. I couldn't explain what was going on. It was almost like this bipolar moment where I was fine, and then the next minute I'm like crying, and I'm like just not feeling so well, you know what I mean? And so even at that time it was my husband was kind of like, well, what's going on with you? And I said, I have no idea, to be honest with you. Just, let me, just kind of absorb what's going on. And then all of a sudden our car jerked. Literally, it jerked. And I couldn't explain why. We couldn't explain why. It was a new vehicle. So nothing was wrong with the vehicle. We proceeded and nothing else happened. But I think that at that time, that when my father had passed, it was almost like he was giving us a sign that he had passed. But I didn't know until 2 weeks later, as mentioned. And then when I found out, it was very shocking because it was unexpected and it would just happen. And it did happen on Father's Day of all days. So a year after, around 2005, is when he came to me in my dream. And I'd like to kind of go into detail as to what happened. So these visits that I get from our loved ones, they kind of come in and then they go. So it's kind of like they relay a message and then they leave to give us that reassurance that everything's going to be okay. So at that time, like I said, a year later, my father came to me in a dream, and as he came, I kind of came on the right-hand side here, and when he appeared, he looked so youthful, and I don't know if you see, like in, like Jesus' picture, a lot of times they have that, I call it Christ light, like white light, just purity behind, and so that's what he came as, and, youthful looking, and he had this gold cross chain, and it was pure gold. It was like, I've never seen gold like it, and it was just so pure that it like gave off this glistening glow that like surrounded him. And how we communicated was I guess, through the mind, telepathically, as I say. And so I could understand what he was saying, and he could understand what I was saying through motion and through mind, right? And so I was like, wow, Dad. I'm like, it's you. And all of a sudden he showed me with his hands. He literally like went like this, put it on his chest, like his hands on his chest, and he kind of like went like this, like a sad face kind of thing, and just so basically confirming that how he passed, it was like through the heart, so a heart attack. But then he gave this feeling to me that that was just so peaceful. He says, you know, like, this is what had happened to me, but I'm okay now, and everything is gonna be okay. And then, sure enough, he disappeared, and I awoke crying because it was just so surreal, meaningful, and all of the above. So that was my very first visit. I also just wanted to kind of share some books and some information. I'll even put the links down below. But one good, if you have dreams or premonitions like I do, this is a really good book. Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions. It's from Kelly Sullivan Walden. And I actually got in contact with her. And sometimes I'm on the radio with her on Fridays. But you could always, check in with her and then even just purchase the book. It's pretty good. But I've submitted a story in hopes that I'll get, I can help others, and, but look, it's so thick. A lot of people. So it's like enclosed with a lot of people that have experienced dreams and premonitions and kind of share their story. So yeah, anyway, that's a really good read for you. Another two people, let's see, spiritualawakening.net would be another one, and it's about dreams, and it kind of goes into detail what exactly dreams are in a spiritual sense. One of my favorites is John Paul Jackson. He does dreams and mysteries, dream interpretations, but in a biblical way. So I do recommend him as well. So I'll put the links down below. If you have had any visits from your loved one and would like to share, I will also send a link down there as well with my email address. I want to thank you for allowing me in your home, trusting me in the process of sharing, and looking forward to hearing from you as well. Until next time, love and light. Take care.